business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. I get to do it every day, guys and girls. It's awesome. So today's guest is going to light you up about AI, how it can really be a servant's heart, because it can be. Trust me, I use it all the time. You'll be motivated, you'll be challenged, and most importantly, you'll walk away with the tools, inspire action, both in your life and the lives of others. Before we dive in, here's your homework, audience. I want you to think how you're going to serve yourself and serve others today. It doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So let's lean in, definitely take notes, because if you do ads, this is the guy you want to listen to. And let's discover how servant leadership in business can create ripple effects that last far beyond that bottom line. Quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the only universal emotionally resonant messaging framework that works anywhere for any audience. This 4-page system transforms how I pitch, how I post on social media, and how I do my podcast. Engage, persuade, inspire, and close. The 4 cool things that tell your story. I use it daily and it works. Grab your free trial at epicimpact.ai with the promo code Steve to start inspiring action today. And I'm excited to announce we hit top 6 in small business marketing in podcasting. So this guest today and the many guests and you audience, thank you for making an impact. Let's continue this impact and keep moving forward to make a difference in this world. Let's bring on our guest, Hikari. Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Excited to be here.
So I have a lot of AI guys on here, but not about ads and campaigns. We still need to advertise. How do you make it better?
Sure. So we are a self-service tool. Anybody can sign up for a free trial to generate on-brand, data-driven ads within minutes. We plug into your ad networks and ad platforms, Meta and Google to start completely self-serve, as well as other social platforms. We ingest insights about what types of creative is driving performance, and then those insights automatically fed into the ad generations to generate for you fresh ad creative that is brand safe, brand compliant, and performance driven.
What's the results we're going to see using this tool?
Well, our average customer sees a 2x increase in return on ad spend. And you know, for example, there's a customer called Omiana. They saw a 2x year-over-year increase in sales, almost an 8x return on ad spend. And so, generally, I think producing better, more relevant content for your audiences, and then having more of a larger portfolio of content to have, you know, Meta and Google and these other platforms be able to choose from to select the right content for that individual that they're serving and that they're servicing that ad to, is generally going to drive higher return on ad spend, higher engagement rates, and better performance.
Well, I've had some smart guys on here, Hikari. You are right at the top at Harvard. You went to Harvard and MIT, correct?
Well, right. So I had gone into MIT as well, but I ended up just taking a lot of AI coursework at MIT when I was a student at Harvard.
Wow. So why AI than all the other things you could do at MIT?
Well, gosh, I think even back then, AI was the thing to do in computer science. So yeah, I mean, that was the thing. And then I think what's really great about taking coursework at MIT compared to Harvard is at MIT, the proctors and TAs are PhD students, unlike at Harvard where the TAs were students from last year, essentially, who had gotten an A. So you're really working with some of the cutting edge researchers, and they're available for office hours, and you're asking them questions, and they have a deep understanding, and because of their deep understanding, they can also kind of teach you in a, you know, these concepts in a more intuitive way sometimes. And so I really enjoyed taking course 6 at MIT, as well as, you know, studying computer science at Harvard.
If I wasn't sitting down, I'd bow to you right now, because that's impressive. And that's, you know, schools not for everybody, but when you go to this level like you are, it's massive. Let's talk about personalized with AI. especially with marketing, because it was like, oh, it's taking humans away. I talk about it all the time on my podcast. I don't believe it is, but talk about the customization and personalization of marketing with AI.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So first of all, I think generally increased productivity increases jobs. So generally, if your people are more productive, your team is more productive, you have more revenue, you have more margins, and that is, and usually, most companies are not, short of ideas, and so that means more resource. But they're short of resources. Almost every company, is kind of short of resources of the goals they're trying to achieve. And so having more resources is good, means you can pursue more ideas, more growth, and that actually creates more jobs. So I would generally say that AI, because it increases productivity, will actually create new jobs, because that means these companies, because they're more efficient, can now pursue bigger ideas and bolder ideas, and hire people to pursue those ideas, and pursue better growth. In terms of how we practically deliver this for our customers, today, historically, marketing teams have large number of designers. A lot of them oftentimes are contracted or subcontracted. You have an advertising agency that takes a large ad spend fee. You may have an in-house marketing team as well, and they're swamped. They're swamped with all the channels that they have to manage. Today, it's not just sufficient to run ads and manage Google, but you have to launch ads and manage ads for perhaps a half a dozen or a dozen ad platforms. You need to create content for all these platforms. Every content has distinct dimensions and video lengths and video formats. You have to make sure that all this content is brand compliant, and you have to drive higher performance. It has to be data driven, and that's usually, just all that results in marketing teams are just completely drowned with work. But an AI system that can intelligently optimize and generate new creative omni-channel and help businesses drive and deliver higher return ad spend more autonomously is a cheaper system, it's a faster system, and it's a better formative system. And that means now that these businesses can spend those resources pursuing other growth objectives and other strategies.
Yeah, better is the key word there. You said multiple times. We want to be better. And that's just huge. And I'm glad you talked about getting more jobs with AI, because out there the world is talking about, no, it's not. So I appreciate you saying that, because you're in the weeds of this, because it is.
Yeah.
And Gary Vee says, and I said this on the show last week, I listened to a podcast, he said AI is going to give us more time to do more work in a different area.
Absolutely. I mean, generally, more productivity means more jobs, because it means you have more resources to now go pursue other growth objectives. And I don't think people are short of ideas for growth objectives and growth ideas. And so, or at worst, you give back the increased profits to your shareholders as buybacks or as dividends, and then they can invest it into other startups, and those startups will create new jobs. And so, generally, I think the concern and fear around AI replacing jobs, I think, is not how we've seen economics and technology that improves productivity. They tend to be job creators.
Yeah. I love that you said shareholders. It came to my head was board. You want to make your board happy. I don't know if you have a board, but I've worked with boards. If you don't make your board happy, you're in trouble. So this would help that as well, keeping those people happy, because you're more productive and making more revenue.
You're creating more shareholder value.
Yeah, there you go. So you've been recognized in Business Insider and a number of other outlets. Why do you think OmniKey is so written for, been so publicized?
Well, I think, first of all, we were the first movers in the space. So we were founded back in 2018. I had this vision of automating advertising with generative AI back in 2017. And so just, I think, being the first out there, being the first mover, there's a big advantage. There is an advantage in positioning and kind of, having kind of a lead out the gate. And so I think we're kind of perceived to be visionaries in the space. And I think generally we've also been able to execute against those opportunities as well. And we now are a global business. We have around 1,000 customers, doubling month for month in terms of customer base, in terms of growth is accelerating. And so at every wave since 2018, we've been able to drive this Gen AI wave, and we've been Gen AI since day one. So back in 2019 or 20, we were fine-tuning GPT-2 algorithms back when they were just weights that you could download from Hugging Face. And now, obviously, we're much more complex than that in terms of our AI stack. But really, from the get-go, prior to ChatGPT, we were utilizing generative AI to power marketing for our customers.
Yeah, it was a wave back then, Hikari. Now it's a tsunami. I mean, it's just
It
crazy.
is probably the biggest tsunami in technology, because people say it's bigger than the internet, potentially.
Yeah, I see that as too. And that's very cool. Talk about humans again and creativity and marketing. How's that play in your vision with AI? Because we want to keep the human involved. How do you make that work with OmniKey?
Well, human creativity and human ingenuity is the very core of business. It's the very core of capitalism. I mean, I think the legal system is based on humans. AI does not have any legal rights. They do not have legal rights to, bank accounts for create entities, things like this. So humans will always be in control because humans control the legal system, and the legal system is designed for humans. So I'm not too concerned about that. I do think that AI will automate and create new, productivity, which will create new jobs and create new opportunities for entrepreneurs to create new ways of utilizing human labor in creative ways. And I think, and for us, I think what we enable and we power, and this is our mission, is to democratize growth. And so and this is really our mission since 2018, and it's kind of what we've put out there since the founding, is technology and the arc of technology is, I think, fundamentally democratizing force. It gives more power to more people. And so for us, that means now the small business owner who has very little resources can now, for free initially, then just starting at $99 a month, start generating and optimizing ads and connect with customers through advertising sooner than historically you had to raise a lot of capital, you had to hire some agency, you had to hire a bunch of people to start growing a business. Now any entrepreneur with a compelling product or idea can start finding their customers at a much earlier stage, and that creates more opportunities for more entrepreneurs. And that is, I think, generally talking about, in some ways, the creation of new jobs. I mean, that's what's going to create new jobs, is more entrepreneurs.
Well, I love this $99 a month. That is, people listening out there, that's massive. And I like how you bring them human in your vision. I can hear it in your voice. You don't take it out. It's part of the whole infrastructure of your business, right?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like we believe in the sanctity of people and humans. I think, like there's, I mean, you can talk about this in like very religious ways, but like I think, humans, it's like sacred. There's like kind of a little bit of God in humans, right? And so we really do genuinely believe in the sanctity of humans and the specialness of humans, and that we're here to empower humans.
I'm sold. I love it. Let's go to the flip side, the misconceptions of AI marketing. A lot of misconception about AI, and some true, that you got to avoid. Just like the internet, there's the black web that we want to stay away from, and there's the good internet. So talk about misconceptions you've seen.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely concerns regarding quality and copy. There's a lot of concerns, I think, actually. So I think first of all is the concern regarding quality, right? That AI just doesn't create high quality content. And that might have been true last year, but I don't think that's true anymore. And that I don't think, and we're not seeing that in terms of our usage and our growth. And so our strategy actually was initially, as a company, was to focus on enterprise, then pivot to self-service when we believe that the technology was scalable to the point where it could, you can say the AI was better than potentially the average designer. And I think we achieved that point earlier this year, and that's why we pivoted from kind of this enterprise motion to more of a self-serve motion earlier this year. And that's really what's fueling our growth now, is this self-service motion by this very accessible, democratized tool. So I think that's one misconception, is that AI just doesn't create high quality content. We're seeing it create really high quality content. I think there are other concerns. I think there's some ambiguity historically around copyright and what data can be or can't be used for training in terms of the output, et cetera. I think that has been clarified by this administration over the past week or so, and so that's good for these foundation models, and I think this will further accelerate the development of content creative engines and generative AI. And so I think, those are some of the concerns I think that I've heard. I think there's concern regarding fake news. as well. But I think there it's, there's always been a problem with fake news, and I think it's more again about creating the legal framework where potentially, uh, you know, uh, if you're disseminating fake news, maybe that who is liable, right? I mean, if it's uh, for example, like maybe it's the platform. If you're a platform and you're disseminating fake news that's emitted by like a random bot that no one knows where this bot's from, well, maybe it's the platform that should be somewhat liable for disseminating this content. And so, that's another concern. But I don't think it's necessarily a concern of like Gen AI, but just more of like, the kind of communication platforms in general. Yeah. So those are some of the areas of concern that I think I've heard. I don't know if have you heard of other concerns?
Well, no, those are the things. Well, on the human part, and you answered that earlier, so I knew you wouldn't bring that up, which was so well. And all three of those, I didn't think about copyright. I had to write that down because, and the government has to take care of that. You and me can't decide that. That's going to come from a higher level than us. But the quality is the thing I've heard because I've seen, and again, this is a tool, garbage in, garbage out. I can use AI, and my eyes are this way, and my hair doesn't look like the quality sucks because of how I used it. You're an expert. You can make that same photo and make it look beautiful because you know how to prompt it, right?
Prompt it, train it, fine tune it, give it reference assets. Yeah, I mean, there's a combination of different models that you're utilizing. The post editing that's done in an automated basis as well that has a different set of models actually. And so there's a whole system that we built and are building and improving on every day to improve the quality of ad generation for our users.
Yeah, I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Hi, Ricky. You guys hire this guy. Holy mackerel. He knows his stuff.
Thank you.
The word, you're very welcome. I love one because I'm a big AI tech guy. I'm an old guy, but I love learning from you young guys. It's great. So you said democratizing growth or democratizing. Explain that a little bit more. I know some people older or maybe younger don't know what that means.
Well, I think it's really kind of core to like the foundations of Western philosophy or something is, the belief in human rights, human dignity, and the fact that every human is sacred. And there's again like kind of a deep, potentially like religious underpinning of this as well. I mean, but it goes back to even like ancient Greece as well, right? With the idea of democracy and kind of that every person has the right to a voice and they're sacred and they have power and they have autonomy, and that I think that technology has consistently given more power to that individual. The iPhone, the smartphone, is an example of this, right? I mean, never before has any individual had so much power in their pocket. And so what Gen AI does is, I think, it's a similar part of this trend where now, where else you used to need to have a massive team of designers and marketers to staff your business. Now you can just have an AI system do all that for you much cheaply, much more faster, much more effectively. And that is, that means now more entrepreneurs can start their businesses, more entrepreneurs can scale their businesses, more entrepreneurs can more quickly find their customers. We have a component of the business that also helps with crowdfunding. And so actually, some of our entrepreneurs, many of our customers can go and find investors to grow their businesses. And so, we believe in the democratizing force of this technology, and whether it's finding investors or finding customers, we use our technology to help businesses, entrepreneurs achieve their goals and pursue their goals.
Probably two of the most important things for an entrepreneur is funding and a customer. So you nailed it. I got to write that down. So that leads me to ask you, prove it to me and probably the audience, you're an expert in this. What's a piece of advice you'd give entrepreneur in regards to tech and AI?
Well, I think it's, I think every technology shift creates, it creates more leverage in certain parts of the economy, right? And takes away leverage from other parts of the economy. And so I think it's important to really think, where are those pockets of leverage that are now created or going to be created due to, anybody being able to generate high quality experiences at scale. And so it's really, first of all, think about it in terms of like, where are there opportunities to create value uniquely? And then I think separately, you as an individual, as an entrepreneur, what are your strengths and what is your area of expertise? And also who do you want to become? Like where, if being an entrepreneur is a 10-year journey. So you will also transform as part of starting a company and pursuing this goal. And so then who do you want to become as part of this journey? And you have to align that vision of who you want to become with the market opportunities and your unique skill set, to kind of pursue that. And so if all those things kind of, work too well together, then you have a very compelling proposition, because you're aligned with your mission, you're aligned with yourself, you're aligned with market opportunity, and if those things are kind of all pointing in the same direction, then you can kind of keep going, given all that different challenges that are inevitably going to face your way as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I love that. It's a beautiful answer. I'm going to ask a selfish question because I'm the host. I get to do that because I'm the one talking. What trends do you see happening in the near future that we need to pay attention to with AI?
Well, I think you've been hearing about this agentic AI, and 2025 was supposed to be the year of agentic AI, and maybe 2026 is going to be the year of agentic AI. And I think that's kind of the big thing, that's kind of coming. And the idea is that not only is the AI generative, but also can go and accomplish goals kind of autonomously. And so I think that, whether that goal is, for us, delivering higher return on ad spend or managing omnichannel ad accounts, and generating content for omnichannel ad accounts and optimizing those campaigns, or whether that goal is legal services or HR or supply chain or anything manufacturing. I mean, there's kind of really infinite kind of vectors of applications there, but that I think is a big trend that's happening. And I think an opportunity to think about is like, where are these kind of historically unscalable businesses, that have been almost partly consultancies or partly kind of very human kind of human intensive in terms of these intangible assets or intellectual capital. Those areas are probably like immediately ripe for kind of being automated due to agentic AI. So a lot of, yes, and if it's an intangible business, if it's a digital business, I mean, those are going to be probably immediately, those are kind of the very low hanging fruit, I think, for an AI to kind of automate and find efficiencies for. And then so in that kind of world, then where are the other constraints? For us, obviously, we believe that the constraint isn't attention. Even if there's infinite AI, there's only so many eyeballs, and so and as long as people aren't giving control of their wealth to an AI, which I think is unlikely, people are going to, businesses are still going to be seeking to advertise to humans. And so, in a world, and so there's going to be value in advertising, if not more value in advertising as these AIs become more effective. So that's one area, but there's obviously numerous other areas. I mean, you can think of GPUs as another area of sector that is kind of constrained. You can think of rare earth minerals potentially as an area that's constrained. And so there's, energy, right, is another one. So like, there are numerous areas where like, okay, well, now what are the bottlenecks in that economy? And those are kind of the opportunities for entrepreneurs to, and then there's kind of like niche things too, right? Like these underlying models, or, based on certain open source things. And, these open source things are based on certain training sets that may be able to be cornered, or some certain open source models may be, be able, if you hire all those developers, maybe you could, corner that market. And so, even there, I think there are opportunities for creating, capturing value, and there being bottlenecks.
I love that you mentioned agentics. I've been studying that, and I'm actually working with a guy we'll talk about later that's built this massive program. It's fascinating and it's great because it do the little work that most humans don't want to do, and it saves you money and labor. With the human can go out and do better things. I love about AI, and you really made me think about, is agnostic to industry. So whoever you out there, whatever you do, this fits you, because you need to advertise. You need customers. You need, what was it, two things you said? Customers and
investors.
Investors. Two things. And this is where you really help. Well, we come to the end here, but I want to ask you a fun question. I want to get you break out a little bit. So, Hikari, I've got a reservation restaurant in Sunnyvale where you live.
Yeah.
and there's a table of 4. So you're going to sit in one chair. The 3 empty chairs, who would you invite, whether dead or alive, to converse, get to know, talk to, learn from, and what food would you order at the restaurant?
Oh gosh. Three individuals. See here. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I think I mean, like,
It's a tough
yeah, I
one.
mean,
I know.
I think like, you know, uh, um, um, uh, yeah, I mean, I look, it just in the relevance of what it is, and not to say that this is probably something that, you know, hopefully it's like a dream, and I'm sure at some point this will happen. But, you know, for me, at least at this point, I'll just say people they're currently alive today, so probably like, you know, like Jan LeCun, Jeff Hinton, Ilya Sutskever, you know,
Wow.
yeah, and you know, I don't know,
Big group. That's a good group.
yeah, like, and I don't know, Italian food or something. I'm not sure, Chinese food.
Yeah.
I'm one of the. I mean, probably something like this. Yeah. I mean,
Let's bring
yeah,
them both in. We'll bring Italian and Chinese. We'll make it a more smorgasbord table. Just enjoy what you want. Love it.
maybe a little bit of sushi in there as well. And but yeah, it's yeah. I mean, that I'll just go with that just because I think it's the one that's most like.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you for being an incredible guest. You're definitely an expert
Awesome.
AI. I love your human part of AI that you talked about. We need more proponents like that, like you in the world to talk about that. I know people listening are going, how can I connect with Hikari? So how can they connect with you and reach out and learn about the $99 program tool they can use?
Yeah, so you can go to omnikey.com, omneky.com. You can Google us. You can follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on X, follow us on Instagram or YouTube, or Facebook. You can email me at hi@omnikey.com. Oh, by the way, I also just want to add one more person to this. You know, the dinner is obviously Faith Haley as well. I mean, just because she is also such a legend.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, so but yeah, the yeah, so those are kind of the areas that you can follow us.
Perfect. No, that's great. And thanks again, Hikari. This has been great. Audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is your homework at the end. But here's a perfect example. This guy's an expert. MIT, Harvard. I mean, I could barely spell those. He went to school there. He learned there. So he's got the education, but you know what? He puts the human part of AI. If you're talking to people that own businesses and they're like, I don't use AI because it's going to take humans away, have them listen to his podcast because I guarantee you, he's talked me into it, that AI is the answer. Maybe he could talk them into it. Maybe they reach out and they sign up for his tool, or he helps them. This is the power of impacting people, these podcasts. So that's why Hikari.
And by the way, I also want to really say that so I was student council president, class president every year from my high school. Went to high school in Westchester, public high school, in Westchester, New York. And I was student council president, class president from every year since 6th grade, till really I was senior in high school. And I always believed in servant leadership, and that the leader is the lowest rung of the totem pole. They're there to serve everyone, and that's a big part of my campaign speeches were imbued with this message, and that was really my view and mentality. That the leader is the one, at the fundraising, car wash, cleaning the cleaning the tires, more than anyone else, and is the first to the car wash to fundraise for the school dance, and the last to leave that car wash to raise money for the school dance. And the president is the one that's checking everyone in and greeting everyone at the door of the school dance that we were organizing. And so I do genuinely believe in servant leadership. That's my perspective and view as an entrepreneur as well, is that we're here for service of our customers. I'm in here really genuinely for this in service for our investors to help them make money, but also for our customers to help them achieve their goals, and obviously for our team and employees for them to achieve their career dreams as well. And so servant leadership definitely genuinely is my perspective on leadership from when I was a middle school student at a local public high school in New York to today. So I really do value that core messaging here, and something I really believe in.
Well, that's, Hikari, a beautiful way to end this podcast. If you just listen to that last 3-4 minutes, you'll know what servant leadership is, because he nailed it. So with that being said, me and Hikari want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you